Hi, everybody. Dennis Prager here, talking about the contempt and hatred that many in America feel toward the Sarah Palins of America. After all, when you think about it, why such contempt? Has she done something bad in her life? Tell me. It's interesting. How did she earn contempt? She earned contempt within 10 minutes of being appointed. At the same time that they say we know nothing about her, they knew that they'd hate her. How did they know you hate somebody you don't know anything about? Isn't that an interesting question? So the answer is she represents something. She represents something that the Barbara Streisands of the world, the Charlie Gibsons, the media, the New York Times, they hate. It's not a matter of differ with. They hate. They hate her. They don't hate her, though. They don't know her from Adam. Or, to be precise, from Eve. They would know her from Adam, but they would not know her from Eve. What is it that they hate about her? They hate what she represents. And she represents, first and foremost, being a believing evangelical Christian. That's the thing that that is enough to be hated by the New York Times. Unless, of course, there are a handful of evangelicals who have left their religious values and adopted the New York Times values. For them, it is not the battle against evil, and it is not the battle for the sanctity of the human being. It is the battle for clean air. That is what one is called for in a religious life, but that's a small minority, and there will always be a small minority, but in any group. But Sarah Palin represents. It's what she represents. They didn't know her, but they hate her. And I think about it, and I've thought about it for so long in my life, because it's not easy, and I'm not even sure they could articulate it, but what they do articulate leads you to certain conclusions. One of them is, Sarah Palin believes that there is a right way and a wrong way to lead a life. That is why there is such joy in pointing out the failures or the sins of the religious right. And why they're called hypocrites. Why do they want to call these people hypocrites? They want to call them hypocrites so as to cast doubt on their value system. Don't take these people's value system seriously. They don't even mean it seriously. Look, they have kids who get pregnant. That proves their system is a foolish one. It doesn't even work for them. So don't take this notion, people should abstain from intercourse until marriage. How stupid. How stupid. The fact that their parents did that, and their grandparents and their great-grandparents and they're back to the beginning of Judeo-Christian civilization, doesn't matter. That they were all stupid. Because everybody who's not liberal is stupid anyway. Well, worse than stupid. They're actually bad. And so you have to cast aspersion on any system that gives you a right and a wrong in personal behavior. But the left has a right and a wrong absolute in macro behavior, right? They are absolutist about, let's say, toxic pollution, of waste pollution from a factory. That is clear. That they are as absolute on that as an evangelical might be about abortion, or is about abortion. So it's not like they don't even have their own system of absolutes. What bothers them about the conservative or religious conservative absolutes is that they are personal. They're about personal behavior, and especially sexual behavior, where one is to be completely free of any guidelines. All that matters is that the people consent. That is the only criterion. And anything else, and certainly abortion. I mean, you're judging a woman? You snot-noses, you. You are judging a woman's decision to abort? She doesn't want to carry to term. Who the hell are you to judge her? Right? That's the attitude. But they're allowed, they judge all the time, of course. They just have their judgments, but their judgments are fine. If you think that the war in Iraq was a moral war, you are a sick, pathological human being. But if you think it's okay to abort a human fetus for no reason other than personal discomfort or comfort or financial reasons, when there are millions of couples who would like to adopt that child, doesn't matter. We can't judge you. So it's only a matter of which absolute you have. But the hatred of Sarah Palin really does deserve a lot of commentary because she didn't do anything bad. That's what's so interesting. She was hated within 10 minutes. You have to explain that. If you're on the left, you have to explain it. You can't argue on the one hand, we know nothing about her and we hate her. You can't. If you know nothing about her, then reserve for about 2 weeks before you begin hating. How is that? Learn about her for 2 weeks. But the truth is, there were people who loved her fast, and there are people who hated her fast. That means it isn't her. It's what she represents that was loved by those who loved her immediately, and what she represents to those who hate her. That's what mattered in both cases. We have the Bill Maher clip on her? Okay, fine. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, but this woman's record should be up for grabs. She's a creationist. She doesn't believe in global warming. She's for abstinence education, and we saw how well that worked out with her daughter. I'm not against her because she's from a small town. I'm against her because she seems to have a small mind.
Yes, okay, there you go. I mean, there's his list. He's about as transparent as you can get on these matters. He doesn't self-censor. He should more often for his own sake, but that's fine. Because whenever you catch him, remember what he said? It was very funny because he said stuff that is disgusting. And he said, I'm just a comedian. He has a way out all the time whenever he has said something that is truly offensive. And offensive to anybody of goodwill, not just to people on the right. But there was a creationist. First of all, I don't know what is it. See, I would ask, what does a creationist mean? Does she believe that the earth was created in 6 24-hour days? I don't, by the way. I don't believe. I believe God created the world. I believe in Genesis. I believe that the day there is symbolic. There wasn't even a sun until the third day. But let's say she does believe in that. So what? So what? That's what I'd like to ask. So what, Bill Maher? Let's say she does. But what has happened here, and this is a very big deal in America, where even if you advocate, you're wrong, because then you are putting people down. If I think a man who is committed to a woman is done something better than a man who has committed to staying a bachelor, then all of a sudden I have dissed the latter man. This is what has happened. We have a feelings-based, not code-based society. Yeah, you can go too far in codes. Of course you can. Where you dismiss people who are outside the code entirely. But we have now become entirely feelings-based. Whatever you feel is just as wonderful as what anybody else feels. Well, it's not. It isn't. There is a better and a less good way to lead a life. That's what is called wisdom, but it's been the age of anti-wisdom. So that's a large subject which we can, maybe we'll do in an Ultimate Issues Hour, the idea of, are you dictating when you are suggesting? When you are offering a better code, are you dictating, imposing? Well, I don't want to impose my values on my kids. Of course, well, what does that mean, impose your values on you? You do it all the time. You have the value of study. Have you imposed that on your kids? What about the value of cleanliness? Have you imposed that on your kids? What are people talking about? They don't want to impose values on their kids. What kind of parent is that? It's such a bizarre statement. I don't want to impose values on my kids. Oh, really? Do you let them choose whether to brush their teeth? Well, that's cleanliness. Okay, cleanliness is a value.